which is F, says as in fish. Right, your second way, which is FF, is at the end of a word, like in cuff. And we also learned that PH says as in phone. Okay, good job. Shake your tray. Okay, eyes on me. Here's your next sound. Your next sound is ung. Students would repeat ung and then write in the sand. U-N-G says ung. At this point, if you want them to still be giving you a word, this is great too. Shake your tray. Eyes on me. Listen carefully. You know 2 ways to write z. What's your sound? Z. Split your tray. And you'll be writing Z says z and Z says z. As in zebra, as in buzz. Good job. Shake your tray. Eyes on me. Listen carefully. This is a beginning blend, and it's spool. What's your sound? Spool. Great job. L says spool, as in split. Good job. Shake your tray. Listen carefully. Here's your next sound. Your next sound is A. You know 4 ways to write A. Divide your tray. What's your first way? Your first way to write A is A, as in bacon, or in a 2-syllable word. Okay? You also know that A, magic E says A, as in cake. You also learn your vowel teams that AI says A, as in sail, like in sailboat. And you also learned that AY could come at the end of words, as in say or play. So good job. Okay, so here's your next sound. Your next sound is T. Listen carefully. What's your sound? T. Good job. You know 2 ways that say T. And the first way is T says T. And you also know that ED says T, as in talked. Good job. Okay, just a couple more. Here's your next sound. Listen carefully, and it's squaw. And you know that SQU says squaw, as in squid. Good job. Shake your tray. Listen carefully. You know 2 ways to write Today we're going to learn our third. So our first way that we learned to write was ER says and our second way that we learned was IR that says And we learned that like in fern, and we also learned as in bird. Good job. And the last one. You know 2 ways to write I. What's your sound? I. Good job. And the first way is I says I, and also I, magic E says I, as in bike. And this could be in like high. All right? Good job. So after you're done with doing your sand and transitioning, whether you did it in the sand, you did it on dry erase boards, you did it on paper, then you would move right into your blending. Okay, and then with blending, what you're going to do is, again, you're still tapping. You also have your Magic E card, however you have it decorated, here that you can plug into your blending board. We don't leave it on the blending board. Some people like to have a magic wand when they're teaching the Magic E, which is fine as well. Just so they can know that when we have the E, it jumps over one consonant and makes that vowel shout out its name. Okay, so this is what we would be doing at this point. It would be sn, I, p, snip. Put that in. I always snap my fingers when I have Magic E, and it says snipe. Okay, and you're just flipping through your card pack again. So you can have this sm, it, smit, plug it in, smite. So we can even have a word with a bossy R in here. It's going to be smirt. We can have glurb, good nonsense words. Again, if your students can read a nonsense word, they can read any word. We can do plurb. And if this comes up when you have the ANGs or the ONGs, the ing-ang-ongs, or the unks, ink-ang-gong-gunk, you just actually cover up your final consonant, and you're blending like this. Pull, ang, plang. Br, ang, brang. Br, a, b, brab. Put in Magic E, brabe. Cr, a, k, crack. Could we put in Magic E at this point? No, we wouldn't want to show our students the Magic E because we know that the powers of Magic E only jump over how many consonants? Just one. Okay? So we're not going to put our Magic E unless we have a single consonant here. Okay? So we could have this, cr, a, craft. We can even cover this up and our students can do this. Cr, a, cray, to practice your open syllables. A, hay. K, a, k. A, lay. Laugh. A, lame. Again, we're not worrying about spelling, we're just practicing our sounds, okay? And we can even do some simple ones, o, a, g, log. So would we want to put magic E in with following a G? Probably not, because we know that G followed by E, I, or Y is going to give you the soft sound. So it's going to change that sound. And we haven't learned soft G yet, okay? So you'd want to probably just continue on with your blending. So you could do this, o, g, lurg, o, e, g, league. Would we want to do something like that with a double letter? Would we want to see a double L after a vowel team? Most likely not. Anytime you have a one syllable word with it's going to be with a single short vowel, not with two, like a vowel team or two vowels. So if you wanted to do something like that, it's going to be more common visually and seeing the double L at the end of a word. So it's going to be o, a, o, wow. O, a, f, laugh. Do something like that. O, ong, long. K, ong, kong. Okay? We reviewed our concepts C through IR. And once you're done teaching C through IR, the next concept or the new concept that you're going to be teaching is going to be the UR. And we are still following the format of teaching a new concept advanced. So as you know, teaching a new concept advanced is when it's not as long as teaching C through QU because we've already taught letter formation, okay? And, we could be brainstorming words, but we probably would want to have objects for that brainstorming, which I'll share with you in a minute. So we're going to be teaching them that UR is a third way to write we know that ER says IR says but there's also UR says as in turtle. So we might want to bring in some type of object. We can talk about turtles, where they live, and what climate they live in, where we find them around the world, and kind of get a little bit deeper into that and do a thematic unit, possibly focusing in on that UR sound. Now, with the UR, it's the third of the three and it's probably the least common of those So when you're writing words, you're going to probably always, kind of visually write those sounds out. If you had to write a word such as bird, you would write B-I-R-D, B-E-R-D, B-U-R-D, and visually be able to look at those and decide which word is correct, okay? But right now, all the words that we're going to be working on today or this week are going to be on UR, all right? And you are saying So in terms of brainstorming different things, maybe you have, like I said, objects for them to choose from. So in here, we could pull out a picture, possibly, and the students could be saying, oh, that's a church. We could be writing those words along with them. We also can have curtains for them to see that, exposing them to words that contain UR and how we spell them. We can have a picture of a nurse. And we can even have a picture of a purse. So after you're done brainstorming with your students, you're going to probably want to bring in some type of literature, possibly a poem for them. You can, we have More Phonics Through Poetry has a collection of poems in here, and it deals with all the sounds that we've been teaching with you. There's NK, SHR, ER. Using a poem about 30 dirty turtles that you can read to your students that goes along with the turtle theme for you to practice those UR sounds, okay, and some activities that you can do along with them. So you can be sharing that. And what is going to be most important is you're going to be able to take that UR card, plug that into your review deck, and also highlight your phoneme grapheme chart. Okay, so once you're done doing that, and you're also have shown your students that now this is the third way to write that they're going to be doing that, knowing that ER is the first way that says the second way is IR says and the new way that we just learned is going to be UR says okay, as in turtle. Okay. Once you're done with that, then you should be able to transition right into writing some words and finger tapping them and show them what that looks like. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is we're going to do some dictation with our new sound that we've learned, and we're going to transition from like one syllable words into multisyllabic words just using the UR, okay? And so we would be taking our finger tapping hand. Again, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to be finger tapping with my left. And I have words here isolated into spaces. You probably will not be dotting letters or writing letters on the sound lines for them. Those skills have already been mastered at this point. The one thing that they will be learning is that UR goes on one sound line. It's a bossy R, and bossy R is bossing those vowels around, and it's going to be one sound, okay? So if I wanted you to write the word burn, like She got a burn from the sun is, again, burn, finger tap it, burn. Do it with me, burn, burn, and then write it. And you could be asking in class, what says B says what says UR says and what says N says N. Okay, so once they check those words, you check the letter formation, you're going to be seeing your students are quite quick at doing this. You're probably doing a lot more than 5 words at this time. Again, I'm just showing and modeling this for you of what that looks like. At this point, maybe for number 2, I'm not sure if your students will actually need that, but I'm just showing you what that visual would look like. Again, that visual for a digraph is a squiggle line, and so that's a good indicator that they're going to see 2 letters on that sound line as well. We do not use any visual cues for our vowel teams or our bossy R's. So for number 2, our word is churn, like I will churn the butter. Churn. Churn. Okay, what says ch? CH says ch. What says UR says what says N says N. So again, check, rewrite, write. Okay, so for number 3, if you take a look at your sound lines here, I want to show you that I have 2 little lines here, and the 2 little lines are different from our squiggle line. Remember that the 2 little sound lines represent a blend. Okay, so in this case, we have a 2-letter blend. All right, so we know we have visual cues, and we're going to review all the visual cues at the end of this, and you're going to see that 2 little lines represent an ending blend or a beginning 2-letter blend. Okay, and this word is the word burst. So the little boy burst his balloon. Burst, burst, burst. Okay, finger tap with me. They would finger tap that, and then st goes on one sound line. Representing the S and the T, and then rewrite. Okay, and I'm just going to do one more word for you, and what I'm going to show you is a 2-syllable word for dictation. Again, we know that the squiggle line represents a digraph, so listen carefully. Thursday. Today is Thursday. Listen carefully. Thursday. First syllable is thurs. Thurs. And your second syllable is day. D-A. 2 sounds. D-A. Again, we know that the vowel teams go on one sound line. So then we rewrite that. Good job remembering a capital letter for the day of the week. And so on. So you can continue down your word dictation list, and then of course you're going to go back and you're going to read those words. Burn, church, burst, Thursday, burst, church, burn, and then jump around. Burst, Thursday, burn, church, Thursday, burst, church, burn, church, Thursday. Okay? After you're done with doing your word dictation, then you're going to move into your sentence dictation. Okay? And with your sentence dictation, you're going to have to decide how many visual cues your students need at this particular time. Usually you can just even give them a solid line and they don't even need to rewrite. Again, it all depends, and you're going to give your students what they need. So the sentence that we're going to be writing is, the pipe burst under the sink. Okay, it's a little bit longer of a sentence. We need to make sure that we have enough spaces for that. The pipe burst under the sink. Okay, maybe you're going to put a box at the end. Your students are still struggling with punctuation. And listen again. The pipe burst under the sink. Okay, pound it with me. The pipe burst under the sink. You pound it. All right, good job. Now I'm going to point. I want you to watch. The pipe burst under the sink. Okay, you point with me. The pipe burst under the sink. Now you do it. Okay, and then you write it. So after you're done checking their sentence, and they can rewrite their sentence, and then just making sure that they go back and read their sentence. The pipe burst under the sink. And so we just completed Monday. We did a 3-part drill. Again, we did our dictation of words. We did a dictation of sentences with 1 and 2 syllables. So then possibly for your Tuesday, you're going to start off with reviewing your red words. So different ways that you can review your red word is we have like what we call a zap game. So maybe you have this would be a good center or classroom or small group activity. And with their red word sticks, you can put their red words that they need to review on their sticks, and when they get them, they have to arm tap them, KNEW, new, possibly use it in a sentence. They get to keep their stick, and it keeps going around the circle. And the name of the game is Zap. So if you get a zap, you lose all your sticks. So it's just supposed to be, a fun way for your students to review their red words and making sure they can use them appropriately in a sentence, such as about, ABOUT, about. Okay, so that's a good way to review. So in addition to the game and playing Zap with your students, you could also play memory with them and taking their red words and just laying them out on the table, again, working in a small group or in partners or whatnot. And then they have to find a match. So once they find a match, you can go through their cards, and they don't have a match, they have to turn them back over. The next person goes, and they're looking for a match, and maybe they found the match of her, so they could take it again. They're going to tap HER, her, and then again using it in a sentence, and they keep going until they don't find a match. So that's another good way to review your red words and making it a game. We also can take that rapid word chart that we talked about earlier. And this is where you can take your red words and you can actually mix them up. As you can see, there's only 5 red words on this rapid word chart. This is a great fluency drill for your students to making sure that they're reading with speed and accuracy. So what we would want them to do is take all 5 words, we jumbled them up for them, and they could be reading, again, this is like beat the clock, beat your partner, something like that, and they could read of, for, the, new, does. New, of, does, for, the, and kind of going through that and keeping track of your time. So again, another great review, great fluency practice as well. Okay, and now we're going to learn our new red word. And so with our new red word, again, we have our red word paper. I just blew this up for you so everybody could see it. It's on our red word paper. We have a line up here for you to put your number. It's the front of your paper. You can have a sentence already prepared for your students. You would want to make sure that your red word is underlined, of the red word that you're teaching. And so our new red word is toward. And he ran toward the house, okay? And so this is a little bit of a longer word as the ones that we've been working with. And when we work with longer words, what we'd like to do is chunk them, because our digital span memory can only handle 3 to 4 digits. So we're going to actually take this word, and you can chunk it however you feel comfortable with. And how we're going to chunk it is we're going to make a scoop under TOW and ARD, okay? So that's what, once we write our word out, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to have the students actually take their screen, place their paper on top of it, and we're going to write the word toward on their paper. And they're going to write that first, TOWARD, toward. And again, we're going to make sure that we scoop it correctly with TOWARD. Okay, and that's going to help us remember. Maybe this is our 17th red word that we're learning right now. And once everybody has held up their paper and I know that they've spelled this word correctly, we're all going to stand up and we're going to arm tap this word 3 times. And I just want to model what that looks like. So at this point, I'm right-handed, left shoulder, and I'm going to do TOWARD, toward. TOWARD, toward. TOWARD, toward. Okay? So do you see how I've chunked that? I went TOW. I wasn't doing TOWARD. We want to make sure that they're moving down their arm and naming every single letter and underlining left to right. Again, after that, they're going to do all the same steps that we've done previously, which is tracing over the crayon bumps 3 times, taking their screen, putting it on top of it, tracing over the screen 3 times. And then they're going to take their red word paper and they're going to flip it over. They're going to write their red word 1 time. And then if they spelled that correctly, you've given them the thumbs up, then they'll be able to write it 2 more times in red. And then down below is where they can write their sentence and underline their red word in red. So on Wednesday, what you're going to do is that you're going to be reviewing that you are concept that you taught on Monday, possibly doing more with dictation, as well as doing some more syllable division with you are words. Okay, so we already know that we have 3 syllable patterns. Okay, we know that we have closed open syllables. We also know that magic E syllables. We know vowel team syllables. And we also know bossy R, ER, IR, and now we're going to be doing some words with UR. And I just want to model for you how we actually go about decoding those words. So when you're present with UR concept, you're going to have some words for your students that you've already pre-selected. Again, you're going to be using your decoding syllable guide to choose your words, and they're all listed for you under the UR page. And you're going to be underlining that as one concept. So UR is going to be that vowel sound, and you're going to be underlining it and labeling it with a V. You're going to be finding your next vowel, which is E, underlining it, labeling it with a V, and then drawing your bridge. Okay, in this case, we only have one consonant above our bridge. Again, looking at our syllable patterns, we're going to decide where we split that word. We know that we're going to do 2 before 3, and so we're going to actually take our highlighter and split between the vowel and the consonant. And we can even rip if we want to make it a little bit more multisensory, we can still rip our cards. We can look at that first syllable and decide, is that an open syllable? Is that a closed syllable? Is that a magic E syllable, a vowel team, or is it a bossy R? And we want our students to be sure that they're recognizing that this is going to be a bossy R syllable. It's not going to be a closed syllable. With a closed syllable, this would have to give you a short vowel sound saying So we know that this is one unit and it's representing a bossy R to give it that burr sound. So we're going to label it with a BR, and that says burr. Okay, and then we look at our second syllable, and our second syllable is closed with that one vowel. Okay, and we know that, that says den. So we're going to put it together, and we have bur, den, burden. All right, so then we can move on to a little bit more sophisticated words. And again, finding our vowels. Finding our first vowel is going to be UR, underlining it, labeling it. Finding our next vowel, I, underlining, labeling it. And then recognizing that we have 3 consonants above that bridge and deciding what goes together, okay? And so we have blends in words, and we have consonant digraphs, and we're going to see if what goes together. Does NS go together or ST? And we know that ST is a beginning blend or an ending blend, and in this case, it's a beginning blend. So we're going to underline that as one consonant, and N is going to stand alone. So now we can label consonant, consonant. Look at our pattern card. We're going to recognize, again, VCCV, very simple. There's your pattern, and then you're going to split, okay? So your first syllable, what type of syllable is that? That's going to be a bossy R. You're going to label it BR. It's not a closed syllable. Why isn't it a closed syllable? Because we have UR as one vowel pair, okay, saying And we're going to look at the second syllable, where this is a magic E syllable. Magic E jumps over one consonant, makes this vowel shout out its name, saying I. So we know that TURN is going to say turn, and the second syllable is going to say style. Put it together, turnstile. And the last word that we're going to break apart, again, we're going to find our first vowel, and we're going to find our second. We're going to underline, label, draw your bridge. You're going to find your first vowel, underline. You're going to find your second vowel, underline and label. You're going to draw your bridge. You're going to look at what's above your bridge. You're going to underline it and label it. So in this case, you're going to look at your pattern card. We always do number 2 before 3, divide. And what type of syllable is that FE? Is that going to be an open syllable, closed, magic E? When we know that FE is an open syllable, and the second is a bossy R syllable, BR. Okay, and first syllable says fee, second syllable says mer. Put it together, femur. Great job. And so some additional activities that you can do once you're done doing syllable division is that you can also move into possibly doing a vocabulary chart. Maybe your students didn't know what femur meant. And we can use, we have watch your word grow, and you can do like a vocabulary tree. And we're going to start with the bottom, moving all the way up. So down here is where you would put your word. They can be looking at the dictionary or looking at a tablet to find out the definition of this word or getting a synonym. They should also find out what the opposite of that word is. And so for femur, we know it's your thigh bone, and maybe the opposite is going to be their fibia, and understanding where that is in their body and actually using it in a sentence. So this could be something you would be working on whole group, with your class or small group before they went on and did this individual. Okay, so we're going to continue through our recipe for reading book, and now we're going to be at our diphthong concept. And when you're teaching your diphthongs and you're teaching any of the ow sounds or the aw sounds, oi or oo or these are going to be labeled as a DT, you would first begin instruction with teaching them one syllable words with dictation, and then you would be moving into some syllable division. So I just want to model for you what that syllable division would look like if you had a diphthong, okay? Okay, so we're going to decode our word that we're presenting to our students, and we're going to have them look with their eyes to find the first vowel or vowel sound, and they're going to be underlining the OW is that first vowel sound, looking with their eyes and finding the next vowel or vowel sound, so they're going to underline ER and labeling that, drawing their bridge, connecting that, looking at what's above their bridge, and they're going to see one consonant, and they're going to see that vowel pattern of B, C, V, looking on their pattern card, and they're going to be splitting that, and they're going to be breaking their word into parts. And so they're going to look here, and they're going to know that OW, it says ow, and we're going to label that as a diphthong. We're going to put a DT. It says chow. And we're going to also look here, in that DER, that's going to be a bossy R syllable. Your first syllable says chow, your second syllable says der, put it together, chowder. In addition to teaching the new syllable type, diphthong, we're also going to be teaching our students at this time a new vowel pattern. And the pattern, that syllable pattern that they're going to be learning is the number 4 syllable pattern, which is vowel, vowel. And I just want to model for you what that looks like. And if you look here, they're going to, again, find the first vowel or vowel sound, underline that and label it. Their second is going to be I, underline and label it. They're going to be drawing a bridge. Is there anything between your two vowel sounds? No. So that's where you're going to divide. Now we also have, if you notice, another vowel in this word that's not an E at the end. So what do we do if we have another vowel that's not an E at the end? So we always cover up everything from our last vowel that's labeled and find our next vowel. So our next vowel is going to be that ER, or vowel sound, and we're going to label it with a V. We're going to be drawing our bridge, and above our bridge are going to be 2 consonants. So we have a consonant here, we're going to label it, we have a consonant here, and we're going to label it. Then you're going to have your pattern, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, and you're going to split between your 2 consonants, okay? Then you can go back and label each syllable. So in your first syllable is HOW, and that's going to be labeled as a diphthong. Your second syllable is going to be a closed syllable, and your third syllable is going to be bossy R. And then you would want to have them break that up and read that. So it's howitzer. So after you're done working with your students, you could be showing them that we have hit all of our syllable division patterns, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are also have learned all 6 syllable types, and we only have 1 left. And the last one that we have is the consonant LE syllable type. And the syllable type consonant LE, we treat a little bit differently. With the consonant LE, instead of you writing words with consonant LE, we actually show you those words, and we want you to decode those first. So what that would look like is a little bit different. Is that we would be providing you with a word, and we would still want you to find your first vowel, and your first vowel in this case is going to be A. Your vowel sound, you're going to underline that, and then you're going to look and find another vowel. Well, we already learned that E at the end of a word could be a magic E, but what do we know about magic E? We know that magic E has magic powers, and its magical powers allow it to jump over 1 consonant and make the vowel shout out its name. But in this case, this is not a magic E because there's 2 consonants in between. So we have to look for a consonant LE syllable pattern. And if you see a consonant LE syllable pattern, all we have to do is actually circle it and draw a line. And that divides our word into 2 because consonant LE is actually its own syllable type. So you can divide your word, and you're going to look at that first syllable, and that's an open syllable. It's going to say stay, okay? So you can label it with an O. And then your second syllable is PLE, and that's a consonant LE ending, and you can label it C-LE. It says pull, okay? So it's stay, pull, staple, all right? So it's much easier to start off with decoding before you go into the encoding, and I'm just going to actually show you how to encode words with diphthongs as well as with consonant LE endings. And I already have a couple prepared for you. So possibly for number 1, you can have your students look at that, and hopefully they're going to be able to tell you that there's going to be a blend in there. And how do they know it's a blend? It's because of those 2 little lines. And we're going to dictate that word to them and say, okay, class, this is your word that you're going to be writing, and your word is sunflower. Listen again. Sunflower, like I grow sunflowers in my garden, and it's sunflower. Okay, first syllable is sun, and they're going to write n. Second syllable is flow, full, ow. and their last syllable is er. And so they would have that, and then again, you would have your students rewrite those words. So for number 2, we're going to be writing a consonant LE word. The word that we're going to be writing is the word embezzle, and it is not wise to embezzle money from a company. Okay, so here's your word embezzle. Listen again, embezzle. Okay, so they're going to fingertip M, and write it, and then bez, write it, and their last syllable is zol, and it's one tap, zol, and then they're going to be writing that ending. Okay, so that whole unit gets one tap. So it's good to show the difference between encoding and decoding. You can do different words, you can do the same words. So once you teach them that concept, they're going to be able to do any word that has that consonant LE in them. Okay, and I just want to share with you some of the resources that we have that might be beneficial for your students. And these are from EPS catalog, and you can also get them on our website. But these are alphabet series readers. They go in the exact same order as your recipe for reading sequence. And this is the first book that your students would be able to read, actually knowing just 9 letters. Okay, the great thing about these alphabet readers is that in the back of them, it's showing you what their sight words that they need to know to be successful in reading this book. This gives the students a lot of confidence. They're just black and white books that they could be reading, and there's just a lot of fluency practice for them. Sometimes what I do is I get a red crayon and I underline all the red words for them so they know that those are words that they have to memorize. And then we have our green words that are in here that are only dealing with the first 9 letters. So at the end of each of the books, they also have some comprehension questions that you can use with your students, just to go back and making sure that they understand, what has been read. It's not that sophisticated, but at least we're tapping into some comprehension questions for your students to answer. And just so you know, there are a couple of books just for the C through T. And then every time you teach a concept from here on out, the concepts on the back of the book, they have content for you to go through with your students. Again, this is something that you can even write on index cards, and you can pass out to the students that they can practice. You can make little booklets on index cards for them to follow along with the words, and they can practice that with fluency. You can put these on tape or audio record them, and they can follow along, which will be good practice for them. And so this first series, which is series A or volume 1, with your alphabet reading series, you have a total of 18 books that your students can read that take you all the way through C through Sammy Loves Fried Zebra, which is that first spelling rule that they learn after C through QU. This would be a great series for you to have for your students if they're working C through QU and are working on some of those foundational skills. Okay. In addition to the alphabet readers, we also have early comprehension readers for your students. Now we have an A, B, C, and D, and we also have series 1, 2, and 3. I believe it goes up till 8. So in the early reading comprehension series, they have some basic comprehension questions, but they also have matching, they have write about it. They really do begin around 2nd grade reading level. This might be something that you want to reach your students, but some of your advanced students might be able to read this content. But again, like I said, they have some matching. They want you to put the story back in word order. They have items for you to match up in terms of vocabulary. And the best part about it is they also have a section about writing about it. I think it's very important to take that information that they have